There is beauty in every single season, even the cold and the dark ones. You don't have to love it, but you do need to learn how to experience it and tolerate it, even just a little bit. Hi guys, my name is Janeiah and welcome back to my channel. This episode we are going to be talking about how to shift into the fall winter season and aligning with the natural seasons of the earth in order to do so. I honestly think that it's time that we stop hating the changes of the season and learn to kind of work with it. Today we're going to be talking about something that I am very passionate about and have started to become more and more passionate about over time. So I'm sure we're all familiar with the fact that we all have different seasons in our lives where there are different things that we're going to be focusing on, and it's going to change from season to season. The summer, our life's going to look different than when we're in school versus when we're really focused and dedicated, to work and just whatever comes up in life. It's always going to change our focus and kind of how we go through every day. That's what I consider to be seasons of life. Really just different periods of time where there's some sort of shift in your day to day or just in your general focus. And with that being said, the earth itself goes through seasons every few months. As we all know, we have spring, summer, fall, winter. Right now, we're kind of towards the end of fall, slowly but surely reaching winter, but that's where we're at. The reason why I feel like this is so important is because sometimes when we're always go, 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 or we're always doing the same thing on repeat, or whatever the case is, it can become draining, and not because those things don't deserve like space in our lives, but more so because when the seasons change, we also kind of have to shift how we go through life a little bit. And this is especially important as women because we, on top of that, have our menstrual cycle, which means throughout the month, each week, we're going through a different phase, different cycle, which causes us to kind of have to shift our focus and shift our approach in life depending on which phase of our cycle that we're in. So kind of think of it in that sense, but in like a more broader way. So kind of how women, we have follicular, luteal, menstrual, and ovulation. All four of those correspond to like one of the Earth's season, essentially. This is especially important if you are someone that is trying to be more in tune with yourself and the Earth, and really just want to go about self-care and improvement in a more sustainable and realistic way. This is perfect. This is a perfect way to start because not every day, not every month is going to look the same, and understanding that and learning how to approach that is extremely important and will serve you in the long run. There are many different ways to approach that mindset, but one of my favorite ways is to kind of align with the natural cycles of the earth and my body, especially since they are not as disconnected as a lot of people might think. They are very much linked in more ways than you would probably think. But we're not going to get too much into that topic today. We're going to be talking more about that shifting of mindset and focus and routine and that whole bit. When it comes to shifting in this specific season of life, when it comes to like the colder months, there are a lot of things that we can do, right? In the warmer months, it's going to be a lot of like more movement, more go, 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 and doing more things, going out more, just generally speaking. And in the colder months, it'll be a lot more slowing down, taking things step by step, and resting more. Essentially, hibernating is what I like to call it, at least for people. It's sort of that similar concept. You may do things that require less energy. You may have less energy, especially when it comes to having SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. That is something that is really prevalent in the colder months, especially in winter specifically. So that just further goes to show that the earth and the natural cycles are not as disconnected from our bodies as we think they are sometimes. There's a lot more There's a lot more connection there than we are told, at least. One of the biggest things is having changes in your routine. So this can show up in many different ways, whether that is how many steps are in your routine or how long your routine is, the things that you use in your routines. For example, my morning and night routine, they're a little shorter and they become a little more automated because of because of how much like I shorten it. And this is important because when you naturally will have a little less energy at least during these months, it is important to know how to kind of manage that energy and con- and conserve it a little bit in doing things that require less energy, or at least trying to make it so that your daily things are a little more automated so you don't have to use as much energy and brain power to get through every day. You can use that energy towards other things, which we will get into after this topic. One of the things that I really like to incorporate is different scented things into my routine as well. So things that smell very vanilla, gourmand, and cozy. That it's a really small thing, but trust me, it really makes a huge difference because it gets you kind of into that cozy fall hibernation kind of vibe, which may sound silly to some, but romanticizing the season is definitely not even just for this season, like for all seasons in general, man, romanticizing is going to make it a little more enjoyable, especially if you are someone that doesn't really like colder months like at all and you're like a summer person. The same way we romanticize the spring and the summer, we need to start romanticizing the fall and the winter because it's going to kind of shift that mindset a little bit, especially coming this is coming from someone who used to not really like the extreme months, summer and winter, but now I've learned to kind of enjoy both of them. It's not going to become automatically like, yeah, like I love this month, this is my favorite season ever. It's going to be a transition at first, but slowly romanticizing and adding in those little things that really just kind of make it cute and fun is going to make all the difference. This can even be accessorizing or wearing different clothing that really just screams fall. So for me, I love sweaters, like knitted sweaters, patterned sweaters, chunky jewelry. That's something I really started to like more and more as like the colder months come. I don't really know why. It's not intentional. It just kind of like happens to be that way that I've noticed it. But yeah, you can change up like the different scented perfumes you wear, body wash, lotion, lighting candles that just kind of smell like fall or winter, or smell like Halloween, smell like Christmas, like whatever it is that you celebrate, or whatever season that it is that you are looking to kind of romanticize a little bit more. Those are little things like the scented things, 100%. It's so small, but it makes such a big difference. And this is especially important in this specific season and this specific like shift in the year because this is a season to slow down and rest and really just take things in, and finding little ways to romanticize the season itself is going to make doing that a lot easier because although we have been conditioned to believe that being go 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 all the time is like and that's the way, but it doesn't that only lasts so long. To basically make a long story short, we can only be go 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 for so long, and we as humans we have to take those times and those moments and even seasons to slow down and rest. And the winter and the fall, that's the time to do that even more because it's important. Our bodies are so much more connected with the way that the world and the earth works naturally. They're not that different. They're not that separate. We are a lot more connected to the seasons than we think. Another way to shift into a new season and start to romanticize a little bit more is through your hobbies. So whether that is trying out new hobbies or revisiting old ones, either one works in this case. And we always need, some kind of hobby or creative outlet no matter what season it is. So somewhat like if you try to curate a little bit to this season, is definitely going to help a lot more. Doing things like coloring or drawing, journaling, scrapbooking, cooking, or things like Legos, making Pinterest boards or mood boards, things like that are really like cute, cozy hobbies that you can incorporate into this season to kind of really get you into that like vibe and mood. And this can even extend out to music that you listen to or the food that you eat. I know soups and stews are definitely very common when it comes to the winter and like the colder months because they're very like soothing and warm and cozy, and it's the little things basically. Coloring and like getting back into Legos and puzzles and like those cozy games on my iPad. Those are things that I actually started to incorporate into my life recently as I've kind of been shifting into this season. And it makes it like fun and helps with romanticizing it so much. Taking pictures is also another thing you can do. This can be part of the hobbies as well, or just something that you do generally. I'm a picture taker. I love memories. I am a memory hoarder. It's just something that I love to do. Okay. I take pictures of anything and everything. So, especially during this time, it is so fun taking pictures of like the snow, cute, like cozy outfits, different things that I'm making, or like whatever the case is. It's something that I feel like everyone should incorporate into their life, no matter what time of year it is, actually. Another big thing is shifting your mindset because, like I said before, we have been conditioned to believe that slowing down and taking a step back and resting is not going to help you get closer to your goals, or that it's like a waste of time or whatever the case is. But in reality, it's actually the complete opposite, because if you are constantly doing stuff, you're eventually going to run out of that momentum. You can only do that for so long. It's the same reason why we sleep every night. You can't constantly just be doing stuff. You have to take time to rest in order to be able to come back even better. So it's the same concept when it comes to the bigger picture, which is the year and your life and different things that you're pursuing and your focus. It's quite literally the same thing. So it's really important to let yourself be okay with that, or just like start to let yourself be okay with that. Baby steps, one thing at a time. It's going to take time. It's going to be weird at first, and I don't blame any of you if this is something that is like, if that makes you feel weird, and if you resist it even because of the fact that it is something that we are conditioned to like look down on. But it's important, and it's something that we need in order to function, in order to elevate. Oh my gosh. So slow down, observe things, just take it all in, and trust me, it's not going to push you further away from your goals. Another thing, speaking of goals, is this is also a great way to build a foundation and kind of get a head start on the New Year's. I know a lot of people are doing like the Great Lock In, the Winter Arc, and this is actually very possible to take part in without burning yourself out. You can go about that in a way that still prioritizes slowing down and rest. It's all about the approach, okay? This just further goes to prove the fact that taking this approach on the fall and winter season will not push you further away from your goals. If anything, it will bring you closer. You can start to do the little things to kind of build, your foundation for when it comes time for New Year's, when you start to, officially set your goals, because I know that's a tradition for a lot of people. Or when it comes time for March or April, when I set my goals, because that is my new year, and if it is yours as well, this still applies. So, anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it provided a little bit of insight and a little bit of guidance on how to move through this season, and maybe even gave you a fresh new perspective, because this is something that is really important to me, and I feel like it's also really important for everyone in general, because it's not talked about a lot, and if anything, it's shut down quite a bit. But like I said before, you can't hustle without the rest, okay? just like we can't do our everyday routine without sleeping every night. So, again, it applies to the bigger picture, and I hope you guys took something away from this video, even if it was just a small little hobby idea or the entire concept, and make it work for you in some way. Well, I've said my piece, and I hope this gave you a little bit of something to work with. Remember, you don't have to love the season, you just have to learn to work with it and approach it in a different way. So, that'll be it. And I hope you guys enjoyed once again. I will see you guys next time. Bye.